Good morning and good afternoon to all the delegates of the International MUN debate today. I say good morning and good afternoon because, as far as I know, in Colombia is morning, 7 a.m. in the morning. In Romania, it is afternoon, 2 p.m., right?
Yes.
All right. So everyone, you're super welcome today. My name is Tanya, and for today's debate, I'm your facilitator. So I'm going to control the time of your speeches, the steps of our debates. Any questions you have, you can ask me. Today we have students from Colombia and Romania. Maybe some more students are going to join us a little bit later. And we have a jury, our guest speaker, Robert, from Canada.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
All right.
Nice to meet you all.
You.
All right. So first of all, let's start with the self-introduction because all the participants needs to know each other. So you have 1 minute maximum just to say a few sentences about yourself. Where are you from? What do you like to do? These kind of things. So if you don't mind, Pavel, we will start with you.
My name is Pavel. I'm from Romania. My full name is Pavel Spulber. Something that I like to do is swimming. And that's pretty much it.
Thank you very much, Pavel. Thank you very much. Nicole, please.
Yeah, hi. Actually, my name is Ruxanda, but this is my mom's Zoom account. So if I can change it, I'll try right now.
Let me help you, Nicole. I'll help you to rename it. If you will help me to spell your name, it is R-O?
Actually, I think I managed to change it.
All right. So you did.
Yeah. Okay. Friends call me Ruxi. I go to the same school as Pavel. And I don't know, I'm into visual arts. I guess that's everything.
All right, Ruxi, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your information. Martin, can you continue, please?
Yeah, well, my name is Martin. I'm from Colombia. I'm 15 years old. I don't know, my favorite things to do is playing basketball and, well, Model United Nations. I'm a 10th grade student. That's pretty much it.
Thank you very much. Good. All right. We have new participants. Eva, can you hear us? Eva? Yeah?
I don't understand you.
All right. Eva, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right. Eva, please tell us some words about you.
My name is Eva. I'm from Russia. And my favorite hobby is go skiing. In free time, I like dance and draw. I have got my little brother. I love him.
That is great. All right, Eva, thank you very much. We have Ioana. Well, the computer says Ioana. Can you hear us?
Mom, иди сюда.
Ioana is also one of our
ours.
colleagues.
Yeah.
His name is Alex.
It's also his mom's Zoom account.
Ah, all right, all right. But he's there?
Yeah, I think so.
He will take another 5 minutes to arrive.
All right, guys. So when Alex is gonna appear, we will ask him. So far we heard all the information about you guys. Now I would like to ask Robert to give us self-introduction of him. So let's listen to him. He's gonna give his ideas. He's gonna ask you the questions today, and he's our guest speaker today. Robert, please.
Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. How's everybody today?
I'm good.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for asking.
Good. Okay. My name is Robert. I'm from Canada, but I have lived in many places. Currently, I actually live in Colombia. Buenos dias, Martin.
Where do you live in Colombia?
Ibagué.
Okay.
Where are you?
I've been there. Pereira.
Pereira. Okay. I lived in Pereira for a while, a little more than a year. But as I indicated, I was born and raised in Canada. Then I moved to the United States. I lived in the United States for many, many years. Then I moved to Colombia, and I have been here for 11 years now. Excuse me. So I was educated in New York City, at Hunter College. So my career, my degree is in economics, but I hate mathematics. So that's kind of ironic. It's very nice to be here today, and I hope we have a good conversation.
All right, Robert, thank you very much. We also hope we're going to have good talk, and also the talk which is going to bring some solutions to the problem. And the problem that we are going to discuss, I'm going to share the file with you right here. So everyone can see the file, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. So the topic we're going to discuss today is experiencing violence in childhood impacts lifelong health and well-being. So in general, we are going to talk about violence against children. So this is a very, very sensitive topic because millions of kids are suffering from violence in different spheres. It can be in families, in schools, in societies. So priorities that we need to discuss, the questions that can help you to discuss the problem is kinds of violence experienced by children and teenagers under 18 years old. The second, violence in families against children. The third, bullying as the most popular kind of violence between children. And the last one, methods to protect children and teenagers against violence. So this is what we need to discuss. And the last question helps you to answer the question how to protect children against violence. All right? This is it. So the first step of our debate is to present the position paper. So all in all, we have 20 minutes to do that. That means that we have 3 countries, 1 delegate from each country. That means all in all, you have 5 minutes to do that. And you will have some minutes to answer the questions from the other delegates. So we are starting with the position paper. I would like to start with Romania.
I have a question.
Yes, Martin, please.
It's like are the conflict part of the debatable topics? Because, well, childhood is really affected, at least as I know in Colombia, by armed conflict.
Martin,
Well,
can you repeat the question, please?
well, if a armed conflict, like the way it affects children, is also included in the topics we can debate about as
Yes,
well,
Martin,
not only in Colombia.
you are free.
Any
And
kind of violence. Okay.
yes, and of course, we would like to listen how is the situation in each country, in Colombia, in Russia, in Romania, because this will give us the picture how is this problem in different countries. So we're going to start from Romania, and I would like to ask Pavel and Rosin. Ruxi, sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
Who would like to present the paper? One of you, one delegate from one country. If
Would I start?
Yeah,
want
we
me to
must
start?
decide which one of us is going to present it.
Do you want me to start?
Well, look, you can start, Pavel, or Ruxi can start, and then, of course, you have opportunity to add something. That is not a problem, right?
Okay.
Okay, Pavel, you can start.
So, violence is stopping children these days to develop both physically and mentally. Violence against children affects the development of children in Romania. The violent acts are usually beating, bad influencing, verbal violence, and even killing children. Yeah, and forced work also. In Romania, violence against children is encountered more than it is expected. A lot of violent acts keeps a secret. Are kept secret, and these acts are often unknown. Some of these acts aren't even considered violent and are pretty much overlooked by anyone who knows about them. The domestic violence in Romania is a normal thing, even though 60% of the population is aware of that happening. In 2001, 11,000 abuse cases are found referring to parents who are not taking care of their children or even beating them. Although people consider that this is a small part of the abuse cases and approximate that there are another 100 cases in which they don't know details or even know if they exist.
Can I continue from here?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so Pavel gave you a perspective on Romania's situation regarding the debated topic. And now I want to continue by presenting to you guys what solutions are implementing in the present days. So this campaign, Salvați Copiii România, has managed to reduce violence against children with 20%, by aiding help to numerous families. They have opened counseling centers in Bucharest, Iași, Suceava, Mureș, and Timișoara, all big cities from Romania, and even an online platform, Părinți Buni, which offers for free support from specialists to kids that are in need of such doctors and therapists, for example. Moreover, through these counseling centers, there are available at all times parental educational programs, family counseling, and therapeutic or counseling services. Moreover, since 2017, the campaign Opriți bullying-ul sau reacțiile is is one of the main campaigns in stopping bullying, from happening in schools and between students. Also, in 2011, another great campaign happening in Romania, Ascultă-i Sufletul, has been discouraging violence as a mean of education and is promoting other pedagogical methods, let's say.
All right. Romania, thank you very much for your brilliant position paper presenting us the situation in Romania and the ways of solutions in Romania. I would like to ask Martin. Martin, do you have any questions to the participants from Romania? No.
I'm glad that even though they have a lot of problems, they seem to have solutions. That's what I was thinking about my country. Well, I'll explain later why.
All right, Robert.
Okay. I would like to say that Alex might not be coming.
All right. He has technical problems. He's all right?
Yeah, he has some technical problems. I don't think he can fix them.
All right. All right. Robert, do you have any questions to the participants from Romania?
Well, when you look at this topic, do we see a pattern as far as, well, actually, I would actually like to hear from Martin and Eva before I make any kind of comments or questions. I want to see what their perspective is, being there from different parts of the world. This is a worldwide topic. It happens everywhere, not just in Romania or Colombia or Russia, but even advanced countries. But I would like to hear from Martin and Eva, and then I would like to start asking some questions of everybody, if that's okay.
Yes, that's absolutely okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right.
Great.
So we would like to listen to Martin. Yes?
Yeah. Well,
please.
It all depends on how we see violence. In Colombia, we have a marked history of armed conflict. Guerrillas around the nation have always recruited children for their lines. This will actually acutely slow the process of development which we had in Colombia, as our future generations were far away from the economic and educational centers of the country, fighting both for the guerrillas, or well, mainly for the guerrillas. So they can't really study or work to develop the areas or the entire economic process of the country. It's sad to see that, well, Colombia, even though we signed a peace treaty with the biggest guerrilla that we had, we still can't really solve the problem that we have with the children, with underage people. As in Colombia, legally, you're underage from when you were born to 18. And so when we don't have this kind of opportunities for the youth, then we get submerged in this cycle of violence that we see, and that it doesn't really help us develop. This is referring to the armed conflict. Okay, so that's our main problem: the armed conflict that absorbs the children that we have into the main centers of the battle. I want to say that even though FARC is non-existent right now, we have other big guerrillas around the country, like the Army of National Liberation, for example. That's one of them. Other aspects that we see in Colombia is that we have constant bullying in both public and private schools around the nation. So sadly, it is seen as normal in our schools to be bullied, as actually teachers don't do anything, because in Colombia, it rules the survival of the fittest. It's sad to say it, but it's how it works here. You need to be the toughest person in your school in order to survive. So others tend to bully you around because you're smart, because your body, because any condition that you have, they try to do this to you, which lowers your self-esteem. And at the end, we have a lot of suicides and that kind of stuff. Then referring to these to violence inside families, there's 68 daily cases of abuse in families. So 68 children sadly every day get hit or any kind of violence by the parents. I think there's not that kind of solutions that we see in other more developed countries, but the government tries to do a lot of things. We have in Spanish is Instituto Colombiano de Bienestar Familiar, which is the entity that is in charge of taking care of our children, which it works not as good as it should, but we're getting there. I mean, we're in the process of achieving reducing these rates that we have in suicide and violence in families, recruited children. But I think that it always violence. This is as a conclusion, it always will stop or slow down the social abilities of a person. For example, someone that if that always hit it in while doing all his life, then he won't notice it, but he will grow into a grumpy, aggressive person. If you're bullied, then you also would grow into a hostile, rude person with everyone as well. You won't have that sense that people will be good with you. So that's what happens in Colombia. And I think the solution for this is mainly education. We need to have a social education for our people so they can understand that we live in a country, that we live in a society that is connected with each other, and that will help us to know that instead of taking opportunities from other people by being aggressive with them, we need to start dialogue in order to cooperate and have a better society in which we live right now.
Martin, thank you very much. Was a very detailed information about the information in Colombia. Was very interesting to hear that. Pavel, do you have any questions to Martin?
Yeah. About the education part, I think in Romania there is this problem that where parents beat their children for education and purpose of education. This also can happen in your country. I don't know if it does, but I just want to ask you about this. Do parents beat their children in purpose of education?
Well, children in Colombia get beat because of a lot of things. Like if your dad wants you to play sport and you don't want, then you may get beat by your father. So, but what I mean about education is that we should have a social education that explains that we have a social responsibility with the youth of our country. So we stop this cycle of violence that continuously repeats itself. That's what I mean.
All right. Nicole, do you have any questions to Martin?
Yeah.
Ruxi.
Martin. Yeah. Sorry. Martin, could you give us some more statistics regarding bullying in Colombia so we can get a clear image of your situation?
Well, I don't know exactly the percentage of children that get bullied in Colombia. I know it's a lot and it's seen mainly in public schools, sadly. I know that there's 68 cases of family violence presented daily in Colombia. But I don't have the exact number of bullied people in Colombia.
And also I have one more question. Is bullying present also on online platforms, for example, in the online world?
I just found what you needed. 7.6% of students in Colombia experience bullying.
Yeah, and is bullying present on, let's say, online platforms or on social media platforms?
Yes, I constantly check in the comments that like in news outlets of Colombia, and they're really aggressive with each other. Like if someone says they another president, like a more left-sided president, then the ones that voted for our actual president would say that he's a terrorist or that kind of thing. It's really aggressive social media here, as we don't know how to tolerate each other's opinion. I don't know if
Okay.
Robert has seen that as he lives also in Colombia, but people tend to be really aggressive with each other here.
All right. All right. Thank you very much. Robert, unfortunately, Eva left the meeting. I don't know because of this, of what reasons. So, Robert, if you have any questions to ask the guys, you are very welcome to do that.
Okay. For you in Romania, when Martin referred to gorillas, he wasn't referring to primates. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a confusing thing. When I first got here, they always talk about gorillas in the jungle. And I'm like, wow, I didn't know they had gorillas in South America. but it's guerrilla warfare. So just in case you didn't understand, apparently you do, though. Well, what we see, okay, as I indicated before, this is not just something that happens in Romania or Colombia. It happens all over the world. And one word that came out, I think it was Martin, was cycle, or cyclical. Cycle or cyclical. When you live in a home that has violent parents or a violent parent, that is what you're going to be exposed to for the most part of your life. Now, who has a greater influence on you than your parents? Nobody. That is they're the ultimate, are they not? You deal with them every day. They form you, they shape you, they interact with you every day. And what you see is what's going to ultimately you become. You may want to deny that fact. You can go one or two directions. You can go with them or against them. So some children choose to follow that pattern. Some don't. But more often than not, you will see that violence begets violence. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. I also found from some data regarding this from the National Research Foundation, sorry, in which they say that the long-term effects of a child being exposed to violence during its earlier times are poor mental health, drug and alcohol abuse, risky sexual behavior, criminality, and last but not least, as you said, neglecting and abusive parenting. So what we see in our parents' behavior, we will most likely do the same to our future children.
I think well, I agree with you partly because I have seen both cases in which it goes from one side to the other, in which a child that was beaten by his parents, it turned into a really aggressive and grumpy person, as you say. But I've also seen the other side of the story, as another person that was beaten by his parents turned into a really, how do you say it? Like that person is scared of other people, scared of violence, so he has like a poor self-esteem. So it goes I think it goes from an extreme to the other. So it works both ways. That's what I think
Yeah.
of what I've seen.
Correct.
Um, there are also a lot of individual risk factors from which a parent can start beating a child, and some are factors a child can help at handling, like being homosexual. Some parents do not agree with the fact that their child can be gay or lesbian, so they start beating them, also thinking that it might solve something, but it doesn't. It makes it worse actually.
But let's define what means to be punished with violence by a parent, because it's one to be slapped, but it's another thing to have bruises made by a parent, or scratches, or permanent marks. Because in some cases, um, parents can use different levels of violence, and I think this is where the big difference starts to begin. Because if you are just slapped in your childhood, maybe it's not that big of maybe you won't be so affected. But if your parents are constantly making you bleed or leave you bruises or permanent marks, then you have more chances to follow their path or to become a very dangerous person.
I think we need to take another aspect into consideration. As there's not only physical violence, there's also verbal violence, and that's also really presented, at least as I know, because they tell other people that they're useless, whatever kind of things, and they're not actually like. It's also parents telling their children that there won't be anything in their life, or their dreams are like unachievable or stupid or whatever, and that for me is also what takes you to have a low self-esteem, or being a person that has really bad social qualities or social interactions. So I think we just can't speak about physical violence, as is indeed common, but I think it's even way more common to have verbal violence, at least in schools and in families. That's what you see here often.
Uh, beating children also results in health risk behaviors, like children that are beaten by their parents can also have high rates of anxiety, depression, and other mental health problems that can lead to suicide, which is not something that any country would want.
And as Martin said, verbal violence is very common, mostly in schools, and it comes in the form of bullying. Kids nowadays, or at least in Romania, are participants, or see these harassment acts daily in their classes. For example, 1 of 4 children in Romania was humiliated in class. This is tragic because, as Martin said, kids are going to lose their self-esteem and to become very, very anxious persons, as Pavel said. Maybe we should move the discussion now to bullying and how is present in in schools and among students.
No, I would
Um,
just I would like to say that I obviously am an older man, and when I went to school, we didn't have the social platform. We didn't have the internet, so let's go there. Um, let's be careful about talking about bullying at school. It's going to happen. Uh, you're going to how do we say it? I lived in New York, and the term is have your chops busted. Has anybody ever heard that term, chops busted?
no.
For me, it's the
No.
first time.
Okay. You're going to say, "Oh, would you stop busting my chops?" when somebody says that to you, it's a Northeast New York kind of thing. Um, excuse my language, but sometimes you'll hear busting my balls. Do you ever hear that? Busting my balls? Same thing. It just means you're making fun of somebody. And the guy and the person, whoever it is, says, stop making fun of me. But that happens, okay? That's part of living a life in this world. Long before the internet, long before Facebook and all the other social media platforms, children would make fun of other children. I mean, we all experience it. You okay? It's really common amongst males. More so, I don't know. I can't speak from a female point of view. Ruxi, maybe you can tell me. But Martin, Pavel, when you hang out with your male friends, do you make fun of each other occasionally?
Yeah.
Yeah, in a friendly manner. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah,
that's called busting your chops. So you have that little bit of information, and you could say to your friends tomorrow, "Hey, quit busting my chops," okay? Okay, but it's when it crosses the line, that's when it gets to be considered bullying. Everybody experiences it, and it's a learning process. You're going to have to deal with it. Let's not get to the point where if somebody starts busting your chops and you don't like it, he's bullying me. That's something that we have to be very careful about. But it is pretty rampant. Do you know what the word anonymity means? Anonymity, anonymous.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
issue today. Is you can get on the internet and whatever platform you choose, you can make fun of somebody without being in their face. That makes it real easy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. We can say anything we want about anybody we want and not have to pay the consequences of doing that. And that's what it ultimately comes down to is, are there consequences for bullying another person? Now, no. You don't have any consequences, because you know what? I make a Facebook profile, and it's not even my name, it's not my picture, but I can get online and I can be Don Juan, and I can get online and I can make fun of Pavel, I can make fun of Martin, I can make fun of Roxy, but nobody knows who I am. That's the sad part. There's no consequences for bullying anymore.
I think that in schools, at least in my school, kids who use violence to threaten other colleagues, for example, are severely punished.
Yeah.
But you are right, in the online world, it's harder. It's harder to punish someone for their misbehavior. And maybe that's why if there is a report button, and you can press that and you can write a comment to the ones who are responsible for the online platform, but that doesn't mean necessarily Don Juan, as you said, will get will get what he done is wrong, or he wouldn't do it anymore. And you are right. We should find effective solutions for virtual bullying, let's say.
Uh,
Robert, well, I agree with you in that it's part of human society to make fun of each other. Yeah. But I think the problem comes in when you make fun of each other, when you make fun of someone because you think it's funny to see that person sad or angry. I've lived that. They make fun of you because they like seeing you angry or sad. That's like when it comes to face-to-face bullying. I'll say it that way. I think there's where the problem is. Like in Colombia, at least I know people that they don't know where the line between funny and annoying is. So when we see, like, I would like to say that in 2017, 7.6% of children in schools were experienced some kind of bullying. So maybe it started just as a conversation between two friends that then someone didn't like, and then they start forming an image about you that you don't like speaking about that specific topic. So they just start talking about it. They just start making you mad because they enjoy seeing you angry, and that's part of children. Most children, unfortunately, are like, let's say, evil in some way, because that's what I'd say before, the survival of the fittest. When we have a group of people that like enjoy making fun of someone else, then we would just continue doing it. It's cyclical as we go back to the same point. And I think this cycle repeats when, let's say, an older person makes fun of you, and that person graduates and you never see that person again. And then you're an 11th grader and you bully a 6th grader, for example, because now you feel superior. And then the cycle continues, that 6th grader would move on to 11th grade. He would be the oldest person in the school, and then the cycle would repeat. So that's the main problem, that in order to live that we have some hierarchy in our relationships, we tend to make fun of other people, of different people. And now referring to social media, I would say that it's bad in Colombia. We may not even know each other around, and we go criticizing what we think, the way we act. What I've seen that's really common is that if we see a picture of someone, we always tend to find the negative aspects of that picture, for example. And they make really toxic comments about that kind of things. So there was like a nice picture, but your eyes are weird, that kind of thing. And this also makes you, yeah, it goes that way. And Robert, well, I went to Canada once actually, and you also see this kind of behaviors in northern countries like Canada. I went to Brockville 2 years ago. So it's not only a problem of Latin America to make fun of each other or to find the way of seeing bad things of people, making them know that even though they have a lot of good things, there's a lot of bad things on what you're doing. And I think that's not how it should work. And I think it's also a problem of why it's called, also I would like to put it into quotation marks, developed countries.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not discounting that fact at all. It's a worldwide phenomenon. And the reason it is because where most people in the world are like that. It's a term. The German word they use is Schadenfreude, and it's the love of seeing other people suffer, and we all have it. Don't try to deny it. You don't have it. You do. There are going to be people you see that are suffering, and secretly you're going to enjoy it, whether it be somebody close to you or a movie star or a sports player. Like when I see Ronaldo go down on the pitch, I enjoy it because I don't like Ronaldo. Sorry. Okay. I like Messi, but I don't like Ronaldo because I think Ronaldo's an actor. And, he falls down on the pitch and he holds himself. Or Martin, you can understand this when you watch Colombian soccer here and you watch somebody go down on the pitch. They lay there for 5 minutes in anguish, screaming with, oh, the pain, oh, I can't take it. And then they jump up and go running down the field. So that's how my perception of Ronaldo is. He does that often. And when I see him go down, I kind of enjoy it. Niemeyer too. Niemeyer, don't get me started with Niemeyer. But the point is, we all enjoy watching somebody else suffer secretly. Can anybody here say that their favorite there's a movie star or a sports figure or even people that you go to school with, when something happens to them, that you don't secretly kind of enjoy it? Can anybody say they don't do that? Please come forward.
Yeah, well, we do.
Yes.
But I think that's part of a human evolution as our hierarchical society. Because, well, when you get to make fun of another person, then other people also like making fun of that same person. So they come together, and then you have a kind of status between that community. That's what I think makes you make fun of someone. Have like that higher status.
It's a group effort. Everybody's going to do it. Let's jump on that. It's a term called jump on the bandwagon, or it's like mob mentality. Let's follow the mob. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I'm not trying to say that it's a good thing. It's just, as I indicated, it's human nature. The thing is, I think, the violence against children in the household, as well, this is just an extension of that. Now, if you're getting bullied at home by your parents, for example, whether it be physical, verbal, emotional, you're going to now have a new outlet. I'm going to get on Facebook and make fun of Ruxi or Pavel or Martin because I'm angry. I'm angry with my life. So I'm going to have an opportunity to get back at people, whatever the case might be.
Yeah, they also say, can I? And then I'll let you continue. Sorry. They say every bully was once bullied.
Absolutely.
So if you're a bully now, you were most probably bullied, and this is your way on getting revenge, on showing how great you are. But most of these bullies don't have the courage to come up front and say what really bothers them, or to discuss what's the problem. They are just constantly harassing, and this is one of the problems bullying presents. And as you referred to bullying, you compared bullying as making fun of somebody. Yes, but bullying is a constant phenomenon that I found on Oxford Dictionary. Their definition of bullying is a person who habitually seeks to harm or intimidate those whom they perceive as vulnerable. When you cross the line once, it's something, but when you're crossing the line more times, it's different. And children don't deserve to be bullied constantly. They have the right to feel safe and develop in a safe environment. Now let Pavel to continue.
Thank you. I would like to agree with you, Robert, and also you, Martin, that these bullies bully people because of their love of seeing somebody suffer, and also this phenomenon perfectly binds with the fact that a bully would never bully an older person. They always target the weaker so they can see them suffer and make them miserable because they can do uh, big things in their defense.
Can I ask you?
I must disagree with Pavel, sorry. I saw cases where smaller children were trying to bully older students. I don't say that they achieved that, but they were trying.
I was trying to say that when an older child bullies a younger child, it's mostly a success. So yeah, there are cases when younger children try to bully older ones, but it's, as you said, not successful. Mostly, it can, but.
Have any of you been the victims of bullies in your school?
No.
I don't believe I was. Maybe I was bullied, but because I didn't care, I didn't perceive it as harassment.
All right.
What about physical?
No, I mean, come on, who'd try to hit a girl?
Other girls?
Bullied.
Yeah, no, we are peaceful.
Also on this topic, kids should have like this sort of education for them not to, get so angry or be miserable just because someone per se verbally bullies you. If it's physical abuse, they might want to, tell someone about it, make something, try to make a difference in their life.
Pavel, I agree with you. That's what I said in the beginning, that it was what I call a social education. That we need to have teach children these methods in order to communicate what is happening and a way to solve it without really going in that cycle that I've constantly repeated that forms when bullying happens.
All right, I'm sorry, let me interact in your discussion. Well, we were talking a lot about the problem and we discussed about different problems, the problems in the families, at schools and in social networks. But right now it's the time for you to find the solution. And solution not only for Romania or for Colombia, but worldwide because it's happening around the world. So the next step is for us to make a solution discussion, and that is called a closed meeting. So you're going to be Pavel, Ruxi, and Martin together discussing the solution. Me and Robert are not gonna listen to you, so you just guys do it like between each other, and you need to try to find solution, and then you just need to present it like 1, 2, 3. We see the solutions for this problem. All right. So right now you have 10 minutes of time to discuss between each other what can be done to stop violence against kids. We will go with Robert to another room, so you will stay 3 of here. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Can you guys note down the solutions we find?
Okay, yeah.
I would take those. It's kind of difficult.
I was looking at this article that on the WHO site, World Health Organization, that has this solution called Inspire. It's an acronym. Inspire stands for implementation and enforcement of laws, I, norms and values change, N, safe environments, S, parental and caregiver support, P, and I, income and economic strengthening, R, response services provision, and E, education and life skills. We could discuss them, or I don't know, maybe come up with our own solutions.
Well, it would be nice if we come with our own solutions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I
but
think
we could also see what worked and what didn't, so we can inspire from those solutions.
yeah, that's what the social education I speak about before is. I think the main solution we should have it's educating children that a hierarchy and status is not achieved by making fun of the different people, but I think both leadership and status is achieved by knowing the differences that you have around you and understanding the commonalities that are between them. So when we understand that we live in a world of different people, we learn to understand each other, and we learn that there's no way that people should be bullied. So if we take this to our children, that's I think the way that we will stop with the cycle of bullying that we have right now, that has gone through a lot of generations.
Excuse me a second. I will come back in a minute.
Okay. Martin, I think your solution is really interesting, and we can achieve this easier through counseling centers where parents and children can ask for aid from specialists.
Okay. Yeah, so like a center specialized in the. But why don't we think about it as a program that should be implemented in our schools? Like a subject that, I don't know, a name for the subject could be social interactions. And if we have teachers that teach this subject in our schools, then children have a process and will learn it with their friends in their classrooms, which I think would make it friendlier for them to I know that word to inherit or to have these values introduced into them, as they would see that they're achieving it in society. I don't know if you understand me.
Yeah, I got it. Yes, this is good for bullying in schools, but we should also find solutions for domestic violence against children and cyberbullying, don't you think?
So should we establish our solution for bullying in schools as this subject?
Yeah, your solution with specialized classes is really good. I like it. I know you should tell it to Pavel.
Okay. Yeah, sorry that I missed it.
Pavel, well, we were thinking that in order to solve bullying in schools, a subject that I named it social interactions should be implemented. That will let them understand that even though we have differences, there's things that unite us as one. the nexus be together.
Yeah.
So we teach them we teach these in classrooms, then I think students would really learn the values that we're trying to transmit in this.
Yeah, it's a really good idea. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I think we should come to a solution with violence in families, both verbal and physical.
I was thinking about this solution, implementing laws and implementing laws, yeah, uh, and it might not be beneficial for countries, for any country, because like Norway has this system in which children, if children are abused, uh, they can call special services, and even though they were abused just or slapped like by their parent, these special services will take the child out of the parents
out of their
you know
home and move
yeah,
them
yeah.
to
And
yeah.
children
that
might
happens.
get exaggerate a bit. If they're only slapped by their parent, doesn't mean that they need to be moved from their home to a special home. It's harsh for any child and wouldn't be recommended for any child to experience this.
That's why we should teach parents how to behave with their children,
Yeah.
not
So
unnecessarily moving children from
like parenting
Yeah.
centers.
sorry.
So like no, I don't know, like a parenting center.
Yeah, or a counseling center where parents can talk to therapists and psychologists regarding this issue. And maybe, I don't know, give parents bonuses if they behave well and
This
don't beat their child, or so we can motivate them. I don't know.
Yeah. This
Yeah, I think that's a really good solution for the violence.
this could also start, for first-time parents. It's a really good idea, the one that you said. So first-time parents, it would be hard for them to, take care of all of their children's needs, or uh, know all the needs of a child, or how they should be handled. So we could support parents first time, especially first time parents, in this way throughout not beating their
I
children.
completely agree with you. Well, I think we already have a solution for both bullying in schools and family violence, but we need to establish a solution for cyberbullying, which I think is the hardest to establish.
Yeah.
As well, you don't see the person that's doing this kind of.
As you said, as you formerly mentioned, education, those education and life skills, those special classes in schools teaching children about these phenomenons could help with cyberbullying as well. Also, their parents could take care of this education part.
Yeah,
this
but
part of their
not
education.
only children are practicing, let's say, cyberbullying. Grown-ups are using the comment section to insult others and to harass them in a public way. Maybe YouTube has these algorithms that check videos for inappropriate things that may appear. Maybe we should also do this, but for the comment section. And those who I don't know, for let's say whom are publishing insulting comments may get fines or maybe be banned from the social platform they used for a month, or I don't know, something like this. A solution which imposes punishments, but effective and urgent punishments on cyberbullies.
All right.
Yeah.
The
But
close discussion finished. The time is over, guys. We would like to listen to the solution you've thought about.
so may I start? May I start, guys, and
Sure.
then well, I will speak of school bullying, and then they will speak of the other solutions we can do. So, in order to solve the problem of school bullying, we thought that it would be appropriate to create a mandatory subject in both public and private schools called social interactions. Well, the idea of this subject is that they will teach us that even though we're different, there's commonalities between those differences, and that even though we may seem really different to each other, we are part of one society, and we should be able to interact with each other appropriately. So that's what this subject will aim to teach us how to live in a society of diverse society. And I think it will be good to teach it in schools as well. We will learn it with our friends. And when you learn something with your friends and people that you interact with daily, then you would be more accepting of the information. You would accept it easier as you would be learning it with the people that you normally see. I don't know. Did you understand what I
Yes,
mentioned?
I did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, a second idea that Ruxi, came up with, and we all developed it somehow, is parental support. Teaching parents, especially first-time parents, about educating them not to verbally abuse or physically abuse their children, because it's not beneficial, not for their development, neither for their state of mind right now.
Yeah, I totally agree, because there are a lot of courses for newly parents, how to give a birth to a child, how to take care the first days, how to breastfeed, but there is nothing about psychological education. And
we thought about first-time parents because being a first-time parent, you might not need you might not know all the needs of your child, also all the needs of your child. So this campaign per se could help both parents and children in battling this problem.
Great. Ruxi?
Yeah, and on our third solution, we are tackling cyberbullying. You know how on YouTube there are these algorithms that check videos for inappropriate content? We could do the same for the comment section, for example, on social media platforms. And those who use it as a way to insult others for their work, or for what they are publishing or their opinions. Those cyberbullies could be fined or banned from that social media platform for, I don't know, a month or a year, depending on how inappropriate their comment was. And I want to continue Pavel's point. Maybe we can give bonuses to abusive parents who go to these classes, to these courses, so they will understand and will be motivated to continue treating their child in a peaceful way and using more successful educational means rather than violence. And through bonuses, I mean, I don't know, food coupons or free classes for their child, art classes, for example, or music classes, something like this. Things that will motivate them to continue treating their child right.
Thank you very much, Ruxi. Robert, what do you think about the solutions guys just presented?
I really like the having a class in the schools related to bullying, whether it be cyberbullying or physical bullying, whatever the case. That's a great idea. It's really important to bring it forward, and what that would ultimately do is it will also help for future. Okay, let's just say you're in your school, you're having that class about bullying as a general topic, not just cyberbullying, but parental bullying. So you're learning this at a young age, and when you finally do become a parent, then you're going to have that knowledge base that you received way back when. Relying on parents taking classes related to child rearing, which means upbringing, it's really going to be difficult to enforce that. I don't think you can. It's a wonderful idea. It would be wonderful if it was mandatory, but I don't think it's really going to work. We can't enforce a lot of things that we'd like to. Like, it's mandatory. My wife's a psychologist, and she talks to a lot of children, and the common denominator always seems to be the parents, always the parents. The problem with the child is a result of parenting. So she's like, well, you know what? They should have a mandatory exam before you can have children. You have to be able to pass it. Well, good luck with that. It's our right to have children. This is what we do. We're on this earth, and we want to procreate and have children. So that's not going to fly. It's not going to work. But what you brought up about the education in schools, that will work, and it's something that needs to be addressed. I mean, really think about the opportunity of sitting next to somebody you know who is a cyberbully, for example, in your classroom, and them being told what you're doing is wrong, and being confronted by a teacher or a counselor, and they're no longer in the darkness. They're no longer hiding behind the veil of anonymity. Now they're being pulled out and brought forward. And the whole concept of bullying is to do it in the dark, and to do it in secret, especially the cyberbullying. I mean, you're always going to have the ones that walk down the hallway and in the school and try to confront anybody. I mean, you always see it in the movies. I think I was watching Spider-Man, one of the Spider-Man movies, and and he's a kid in high school, and he's walking down the hall, and all of a sudden one of the bully hits him, and he kicks the bully's ass because he's Spider-Man. He can do that. So you wish you could do that when you get confronted in the hallway by a bunch of goons. Does anybody know what goons is? Goons. Goons. Any idea what a goon is? Sorry?
No, I don't know.
Someone that you might consider as just fearful, or
they rely on their physical abilities to intimidate other people, and they often use those physical abilities to get what they want. So they're considered a goon. That's Goon or Goons.
Well, I've watched the Goonies before.
Goonies. Yeah. Well, that's not quite the same, but close.
Robert, can I intervene? I think Martin's idea is really good, but it depends from case to case. Because at school, Pavel, I don't know if you remember, we had last year, May was the month of bullying.
Oh, yeah.
And every week, psychologists would come and talk to us and say how bullying is not good and not good for the bully, but neither for the bullied one, etc., etc. And some of my colleagues, they were bullies, and teacher knew about it. I must say, during those hours when that psychologist came, they were proud of themselves. I mean, they would say out loud, "I'm a bully, and I don't mind I don't care what you're saying here. I don't care." The only thing that made them stop is when that a girl from my class moved to another school because she was bullied by them, and that's what made them realize it's wrong to harass others.
I agree with you, but I think the key of the solution that was stated about the subject is to start at a really early age, like when you just getting to your school. Immediately, this subject is enforced and taught, because, well, that's the only way to understand when we are when we grow up with some values, and our values never change during our life. So when we grow up with them, then they will be part of us when we're older.
For the next, I would agree with Martin in this point of view, but I would also like to say that it could positively it could have a positive impact on the next generation, and it really might work. But on this generation, as Ruxi said, it might not be as beneficial for.
Well, I would like to add something about this kind of classes, if they're useful or not. Maybe it's not just to be, like a talk, bullying is bad, everyone knows bullying is bad, right? Maybe there should be like constant classes, which include psychology, which includes biology, which includes many things, explaining to the people the difference of people, the difference of bodies, the difference in psychology, the consequences it may have of bullying, including real stories of the students who moved to another school or even worse. So I think that it's not just like 1 month when 1 hour per week a teacher comes and talk. It should be constantly and should include many things. Well, this is my opinion. Sorry to...
Yeah, that's the idea, to have it part of the normal curriculum of your school, to be a subject that you have to see when you're like in kindergarten to all the way up to 11th or 12th grade.
I agree. Good point. Very good. It should be something embedded in the curriculum every year from kindergarten forward?
Well, this is it. Here we were talking about solutions. You are the future of our planet, right? You are right now in schools and you can change. It's not like, oh, we are talking and there is nothing. No, you can change the things, you can implement new ideas, and I really believe that it's gonna work. And right now there is everywhere the news what happened in New Zealand, that thing that I guess touches the hearts of millions of people around the world. So the question, where it comes from, where all this aggressiveness, violence of people, where it comes from? Well, I truly believe that it comes from families. It's not just out, it's not just from the sky. So I think that we really need to work on the families, on the family education and all these things. So thank you very much for this debate. Was very interesting, was very useful. You are so young, but you have great ideas. Robert, what would you like to tell to the delegates?
Well, as Tatiana said, you have an opportunity here to make some changes. So, for example, why don't you get some friends together in your school and go to the head of the school, the principal or whomever it is, and say, why can't we implement this program regarding bullying? Why can't we do this with all our students from the moment they arrive in the first year of that particular school to the time they leave? Why can't we do this? Get some people together and bring it forward and say, not voluntary, mandatory, okay? It has to be mandatory. It's not something, well, you can go after school and take this class. No, it has to be something you do every day for a long time. Not necessarily every day, but at least implement some kind of curriculum regarding this and give it a shot. Make some changes. Do you agree?
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah.
I know it's going to be difficult, but you can do it. Get the support of your other students that think like you and bring it forward and say, let's do this. There's no excuse not to.
Yeah.
And one more thing. This is just grammar, okay? I want everybody to repeat inappropriate.
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 Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, not unappropriate. Que pena. No, I'm sorry. no. It's just it's English is a complicated language, and it happens all the time. Those little prefixes, in, on, etc. So you want to try to use the right one when it's applicable. So inappropriate. Okay.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
Any questions?
No.
Wonderful class. You guys are great. Martine getting up at 7 a.m. is very unusual for most kids your age.
He needs to get up earlier because he starts the debate at 7, so probably he gets up earlier.
I had to set up an alarm in order to wake up. But I think I'm here.
Yeah. Well, I have great Colombian coffee to keep me up,
Yeah,
keep me
good.
awake.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Martin, Pavel, Ruxi, Robert. That was great today. That was amazing to see you all, guys. Thank you very much for this debate. Hope to see you next time. See you. Have
Okay,
a good
bye-bye.
day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
thank you.
Bye.
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 Bye.